always be around you. Oh, hey, everybody. Sorry, we started the party without you, but thanks for joining us. Looks like there's 0 of you in the studio, in the lounge with us now. I hope that number will go up at some point during the next hour and a half.
It will, RFM. They're in the chat going off like crazy already. We've got such a loyal following, and thank you to all of you who watch the show. And I'll just say right here at the top, the link is in the live chat if you want to join the show. There's that.
Bill and I were just comparing Stevie Wonder impressions. Your turn, Bill.
So, some say love goes on without you. I don't know any of his songs, so I'm just making it up. I think that might have been Whitney Houston or something.
We'll let the audience vote, okay? We'll just let the audience vote. Although they had to be right there because I just started right at the beginning. Actually, you caught me halfway. But you never know what's going to happen here on Mormonism After Dark, except everybody's going to have a good time. That's the only thing we know.
That's the only recommendation we make, is that we have fun here.
I kind of like the way you were moving like Stevie Wonder, though. Sort of has this S thing.
He does. And he puts his hands up sometimes. And yeah.
I mean, good grief. I know he's still around. Is he still singing? Because, he started, as far as I know, in the 60s with songs like, what was it? Fingertips Part 2. Anybody out there remember that one? Not Part 1, mind you, it's Part 2.
I do a much better Sammy Davis. Hey, babe. Sammy Davis Jr. here, babe. It's a Ricky Dicky Do. I'm the Candy Man. So there's my Sammy Davis Jr.
I happen to be a big fan of Sammy Davis Jr. And I think that this deserves some kind of response, I think.
I'm probably sued.
Of course, sir, this means war.
Yeah, well, there's that. Let's do it. Let's go to battle. How was your week, by the way?
This week, I have some of the greatest weeks in the world in my entire life. And I just love doing this because I've always got something to get up and get to. And there's always something new happening. Sometimes it's not always good stuff. A lot of times it's been bad stuff, especially recently. But, it's always interesting. It's always something that's happening. It's always a lot of fun. And then getting to work with people like you, Bill, especially you, that's a big part of the attraction for me. And being able to talk with the audience and talk about the things that matter to me and I think matter to you, if you're in the audience, at least hopefully some of the time. I just love it. How about you, Bill? I don't know if you asked me to give an encomium, but there you have it.
Well, if we're back on the question of whether I had a good week or not, I've had a great week. I've been very productive. A lot of things have happened, and I'm really excited for tonight's show. And I think we'll have a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, some people are asking me if I'm finally better. Well, it depends on what your definition is. By some people's definition, I've never been better. That came out funnier than I thought. Yeah, I've never been better, but I'm doing better, thank you. And I just have this cough. This cough. It's not the cough that carries you off. It's the coffin that they carry you off in. That's what we used to say when I was a kid. You've heard that before, Bill, right?
You won't be often in a coffin.
No, especially if you pronounce it correctly.
Well, there you go.
I suppose both are acceptable, but my mother always taught me you don't say the T when you say off. You say often. You don't say the T. It was kind of a cardinal sin around the house. So, if you want a dessert, you're going to follow that rule.
Well, mothers know best.
She was also very picky and very particular about forehead, not forehead. If I said forehead, fur was going to fly. It was going to be a bad scene.
Instead of forehead, what do you say?
Forehead.
Forehead.
Yes, like rhymes with horrid.
I don't know. I don't know.
This is how classy people. See, the thing is about my mom, which I'm going to go into in this book, which I've got to write. Thing about my mom is that she came from a very hard scrabble existence with 6 girls, 5 sisters, and a mom and a dad outside Abilene, Texas, a little town called Cross Plains back in the 1930s. Dad left them for another woman, and they lived in a shack, dirt floors, and getting through. And making it and throwing themselves into education, what they had there. And they had, education schools. And I think all the girls did this, but my mom, more than any of them, worked her whole life to leave that behind in her mind. And some of that had to do with manners and pronunciations and what classy people, she didn't ever use the word classy. I think that would be déclassé for her to say classy, but proper. There's certain things you say. You don't say advertisement either. It's advertisement. I don't know. This is how I grew up. What can I say?
I can buy into the often. I'll go with that. I'll side with you.
And then it rhymes with coffin. See,
often coffin.
See,
but forehead. I bumped into the wall and hit my forehead.
Yeah.
No, I don't. You do what you want. Maybe you're right, but I'm going to keep saying forehead.
Okay, my mom would not approve. Forgive him, mother. He knows not what he does.
What about foreskin? Do they say that the same way?
She didn't talk to me about foreskins.
Okay, good. What about three skins?
I'm sorry. What about what?
Instead of foreskin, how about three skin?
Or postskin?
Or postskin. Yeah.
Yes. Neither. No. None of the above.
The skin on my post.
She did have a little rhyme that she told me over and over, and I don't know why, but it involves the word horrid. That's why I bring it up. And forward, right?
Okay.
There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. And when she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was a freaking blast. No, she was horrid. That's how the rhyme goes.
Horrid.
So that's out. Forward.
Well, now you know how our weeks have been, you guys out there. Just wanted to just jump into this. What the hell do you have going on here, RFL?
Have you noticed what the hell?
Something fell behind you. I saw something move on your shelf behind you. More to the left.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
Hopefully it wasn't a candle. Hopefully everything's
trying to figure out what it was. It was my headless horseman. And it's not light. It's not styrofoam. It's not marble either. But yes. Well, it's okay. Everything's good. There you go. All right. And should we die before our journey's through?
Happy
that was loud.
Happy day, all is well.
Yes.
Good old William Clayton, right? He was didn't just before he wrote that song. Who's old crazy eyes? Who's old crazy eyes in Mormonism?
Crazy Eyes, Porter Rockwell?
No. He's the one who poisoned Samuel Smith. Hosea Stout, maybe? Yes.
Yeah, Hosea Stout.
Didn't Hosea Stout threaten William Clayton's life? And it was like 2 weeks later that Clayton wrote, "All is well, all is well."
Well, yeah, the story goes, and I think it's in history. No, this is a good story, and probably true, that Hosea Stout had threatened William Clayton's life in Winter's Quarters, I think it was. And so Clayton had to go to Brigham Young and plead with him because he wasn't supposed to be in the first group to go out. He says, "I need to be." Oh, shoot. Oh, I lost my horsey leg.
Ooh, the horse.
Oh, no.
You know what happens when a horse loses a leg, when its leg breaks?
Oh, no.
How to put him down.
Shoot. That's really sad. Okay. Well, anyway, gosh darn it. Where was I? Oh, yeah. You got to let me go in this first group because I got to get away from Hosea Stout because he's told me he's going to kill me.
Hosea Stout is, I call him Old Crazy Eyes. I'll put a picture up here in a little while, but he is involved in every scandalous moment in the early church. As soon as Joseph Smith dies, Brigham takes over. And anytime something crazy is going on where someone's being threatened, someone is, they're in trouble and getting, somebody's going after them, it's always Hosea Stout. So anyway.
Yeah. So, and this is, by the way, it occurs to me, time does funny things, but it occurs to me that it was a year ago that I was talking with everybody about my experiences going as the headless horseman for trick or treats when I was like 6 years old. And I never got around to it. And it's only been a year, so maybe in a few more years I'll get around to it. Maybe this year, I don't know. I've kind of said the whole thing just by describing it. But other than that, I'll tell it at some point, hopefully. Do you know 4 weeks from tonight is Halloween, which means we got a Mormonism After Dark scheduled on the most sacred night of the year, Bill. I see it leaves you speechless.
I just put the Halloween decorations up 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So they're up. I've got a mummy that hangs upside down. He's pretty scary looking, and he's on the coat rack. And Teresa knew that's where I put it. We both agreed she wanted it somewhere else, but we both conceded at the end that that's where the only place it could really hang and go. And today she went to get her jacket to go out the house, and she screamed, because she saw the thing and it startled her. So there's that. And talking about startling, by the way, I just want to show this here up on the screen. Can you believe when I say old crazy eyes, I mean it. This guy,
This is his relaxed look. This is him after like 3 days at the spa.
After a few Valium. Yeah, this is what he looks like. Hosea Stout.
Like, do you want this guy mad at you? Apparently, what's his name didn't?
William Clayton.
William Clayton, I'm sorry. William Clayton didn't want him mad at him. I wouldn't want him mad at me.
He's one of the original Danites. Hosea
I'm kind
Stout.
of nervous to even be talking about him.
Yeah,
Even now.
One of the Danites. If I'm not mistaken, he was involved in the threatening William Marks to scare him out of Nauvoo as well, along with the rest of the
All he
12-year-old.
would have to do is look at me and I would hit the road.
All the other 12-year-old deacon boys with pocket knives running around claiming to be the Whistling Whittlers. So yes, there's that. All right. So let me get back to it here.
I have this post up here.
Yes.
The reason I have this post up here is it's the family of proclamation to the world. And there has been some whisperings, as there have been in many a conference before this, but perhaps a bit louder this time. Rumors circulating and swirling that perhaps this conference, being the 30th anniversary of the presentation of this document to the church, will result in its being put forward for canonization.
Is that a good decision? I mean, I don't think a church that claims to have the truth should go too far out on the edge on something that looks like somewhere in the next 100, 200, 300 years, it'll be forced to change.
Oh, from that point of view, no, of course it would not be a good idea. However, Elder Oaks, Dallin Oaks, is now the president of the church. He's already been sworn in and acting as president, even without our sustaining him, even though it happened I'm sure he did, right? They've got to always have somebody. It's like the president of the United States, the way they think this position is so important at this point. So it's almost a certainty. Yeah, he's already been sustained by his brethren, and it'll be put up for sustaining vote. I would guess the first session tomorrow in general conference, and then we get to find out who he's going to pick as a new apostle, or at least who the apostles are going to pick as a new apostle. And we'll get to that in a second. But the question is the family proclamation going to be put forward for being included in the Doctrine and Covenants, or the Pearl of Great Price? In other words, made into Scripture.
I have to imagine that, again, I believe, and people can disagree if they want to, I believe that the top 15 leaders of the church are, at least collectively, have a really unhealthy ego. And several of them, more than half of them, have got issues in their past that indicate as much. When a man is called, the prophet dies, Elder Nelson is gone back to Heavenly Father, and God be with you till we meet again, Elder Nelson. And if you become the prophet, you're the next guy in line. You don't want to just, Elder Oaks is old, he's in bad health. You don't just want to die and not have anything that goes down in history as something you did. In your,
could be his only conference.
It might be his only conference. He's that old. And then you combine it with the fact that he's the guy who gave us this in 1984. Yes. He's fresh. I think he's freshly called into the Quorum of the 12. And he is asked to lay out for the quorum, for the top 15, how to handle, since he's the lawyer, he's the former Utah Supreme Court Justice. He lays out the game plan for how the church should handle homosexuality. And the family proclamation is a huge part of the agenda against homosexuals. If you are Elder Oaks, this is your puppy. You want this thing made into scripture because you're going to die soon. And this is going to be the one thing you could very quickly get some backing to, get past, have it be scripture, have it be official declaration number 5 or whatever one we're on now, and have your name go down in the annals of Mormon history as the prophet who made this into scripture.
Yeah, I was just double checking that. And April 7th, so April General Conference of 84 is when he was called as an apostle. So yes, that was August of 84, that document. So he's been an apostle for, I think, 4 months, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah. For 4 months. And he's writing this. But yeah. So the question is, and this is before President Nelson passed away. By the way, am I the only person who feels a little bit sad that President Nelson passed away?
On this stage, I think.
Okay, I was just wondering. So, but that scuttlebutt was out there before President Nelson passed away. And before, if it was already in the works, then the question is, would they go forward with it? Probably. And if it wasn't in the works, might the new president see this as his golden opportunity and possibly his only opportunity to do this? But then again, if it's not in the works, how you put that together in so short a time, it would be difficult.
Yeah. And we don't know what Nelson's health was at the end, but he looked extremely feeble. We know he had lost his eyesight. And of course, he dies in the midst of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Same as the November policy of 2015, there does seem to be some ability when the prophet is extremely fragile for other leaders around him with strong personalities to push things through.
I think that President Oaks is going to not do that this time. Unless it was already planned, and how would we know that? It sounds like I'm doing an unfalsifiable bet. Well, so be it. And if it wasn't already planned for this time, I think he'll soldier through and try and hang on for 6 months to do it in April.
Somebody in the audience is asking, is there rumors of this, the proclamation? And what we'll say is that, and I think Rebecca Biblioteca is the one who brought all this to light, but there are numerous articles on the church's website suddenly all having to do with the family proclamation. It is the anniversary of it.
Yes.
So there is some reason for that anyway, but it seems like an overabundance of being mentioned in various places.
And strangely, one of them at Deseret News got taken down.
Yeah. Yep.
Without mention of why it was taken down, or even that it had been taken down. It was up to observers on the internet to notice that it had been. And fortunately, one of them had their page still open and got screen grabs of the article. And when you read it, it's like, it's a long version of, well, what it is it's giving a fake history. This is the history the church peddles when it comes to the history of this proclamation, because their history has nothing to do with the reason it was created, which was as a religious document to be used for a legal purpose, to be attached to briefing filed in the courts of Hawaii, so that the LDS Church would be allowed to have standing in order to file amicus curiae briefs in the appeal of the gay marriage issue that was going up at the time in 95. That's the real history. And I think I got it out in one sentence, even though it was a long one. But what they did was a whole article about all this bull crap, about all the inspiration, and my gosh, it's 30 years later and look how prescient it was. Well, however prescient you want to think it was fitted to its time and place for that specific purpose, not for 30 years later.
Yeah. And all I'll say is you and I did an episode. This was early in your time when you first started the Radio Free Mormon podcast. Yes. And I'm going to put it up here on the screen so folks can see it. But this was Radio Free Mormon. I believe it was episode number 21.
Wow.
This was the backdrop in context of the family, a proclamation to the world. You and I did this one together, and we cover all of the information with them leaving out the Relief Society, how the decision got made, following what the courts were doing. I thought it was a great episode, and Anyway, so folks want to check that out. It's Radio Free Mormon, episode number 21.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. It was a long time ago. And yeah, we covered it. So this is the fake history. By the way, can I just say that if and when they come forward with this thing to ask the membership to sustain it, I call foul unless they announce it in advance, at least 1 week in advance, that they're going to do this. So the membership of the church know going into it that they're going to be called upon to sustain something as scripture. I expect they will all do it lemming like in the audience and raise their hands in approbation and sustaining of this document in scripture, not realizing what a condemnation it is and has been, will continue to be to the church, especially if it's considered scripture. But I find it offensive. And I don't usually use that expression because I find that very expression offensive. It gets used so much. But I do find it offensive that the church puts matters like this forward to the membership without any prior notice to the membership of the issue they're going to put forward. And once again, I think that may have been a chiasmus and therefore true.
You make a great point, right? Consent involves being informed. Otherwise, it's not really consent. And you have to have the information. If I brought you into a room and said, you've got 3 minutes to read this contract and sign it, you would go, no, that's undue influence and whatever else, what phrases you would use, but it's inappropriate. You should have time to look things over. There should be no pressure to sign something until you've had adequate time to look through it, ask legal experts their opinions and thoughts if you need to. And so in the church, if there's going to be a revelation presented, people should have some time to think about it, talk about it.
Talk about it with your friends, your family.
Yep. That should be what happens, but that is not. But that goes back to, the Mormon temple, when you're told that you're going to make some covenants. We're not going to tell you what those are, but if you don't want to make those covenants, you can stand up and leave right now. So I would have to stand up, face the shame and embarrassment of walking out of there, not knowing what's going to happen. But if I sit and stay, I have no freaking clue what's coming at me.
Right. So I think that anybody who's going to be attending General Conference, whether in person or remotely, in a congregation or ward building, be prepared for this so that if it happens, you can anticipate it and you can vote according to your conscience and not just go along to get along because it got sprung on you out of thin air.
Yeah. I'm just thinking too, a little side note. Mormonish just did an episode where they talk about the Family Manifesto, 1988 Christian Family Manifesto. I did find it. I sent Rebecca images of it. I'm sure she already had it because she was planning the episode, but I saw them and I just wanted to let her know I was thinking about it too. I went and read some of it. I skimmed through it, and it's not verbatim, but it seems to be organized, and the sections seem to be the exact same category of topic, same topic being discussed in each section. The wording is certainly different, but I couldn't help but agree with her that one seems at least helpful to creating the other.
But as an apologist, I cannot allow you to come to that conclusion because you cannot prove that any of the apostles actually had in their possession a copy of this family manifesto and read it and then used it in order to make this proclamation.
That sounds like footnote number, 47 or something on the Book of Abraham Gospel Topics essay. Joseph Smith may have had these books in his possession, but there is little to no evidence that he read them. Something like that.
Or that he used them in this way. No, of course not. Oh my gosh. How embarrassing. What an embarrassing argument that would be to make. Okay, so that's the question. By the way, in the live chat or in the other comments below, if you're watching this on a repeat, go ahead, let me know, or let us know. Let all of us know whether you think this is going to be put forward tomorrow for sustaining as scripture. That's a Y. And if it's not, then put an in. I'm going to have to lean on the inside. I don't want to influence anybody, but I'm going to lead toward the inside myself on this weekend. I could be surprised. I often am, but I'm a little bit on that side. The no side.
Yeah. And do please, like right now, for instance, in the comments, if you want to leave a Y for yes, if you think that the family proclamation will be canonized, or an N for no, if you're thinking that won't happen. But I'm with you, because conference is almost always nothing and less than what we expected, I'm going to go with just the pattern of things that have happened in the past and say, no, this isn't going to happen because every conference is boring and nothing happens.
By the way, I think I should say that there's at least one major exception to what I just said, which was obviously the lifting of the priesthood ban, which happened in June, and everybody knew about it. Was it June 8th? I can't remember, but it was in June of 1978 anyway. And everybody knew about it well in advance of the October General Conference, at which time it was asked that it be sustained. There was also, I think it was last week when I made some comment about, maybe it was last Monday, made some comment about, it was Jasmine Rappley, who did a video about President Nelson in salute to him, saying he changed everything. And I said, how, back when I was a kid, 400 years ago, that would have been an insult because prophets were not supposed to change things. And President Kimball didn't change things. And if somebody had said that at the end of his life, right, then that would have been an insult. And someone, of course, brought up the obvious exception to that, the lifting of the priesthood ban. So yeah, he did change. Obviously, he changed something. He changed something important. And by the way, I was really glad to see that. I appreciate reading comments, which I do in the live chat and other comments. A lot of times I learn things, I get things wrong or somewhat off, or maybe there's more to the story. So I appreciate the intelligence, and especially the collective intelligence of this audience. But having said all of that, now I forgot my point. Bill, save me.
Well, I don't know what your point was, but I just had up on the screen the family manifesto. And even just, I'll try to make it here.
I remember.
Oh, please.
I remember. Okay, it was that person talking about how nothing happened in Spencer Kimball's time. That's what I had said. And the other person had said, yeah, except for the lifting of the priesthood ban. Dummy. But that was one thing he changed, right? Not everything. And then I started comparing that one change with the changes that President Nelson has made, especially if you just want to look at, say, for women in the temple or outside the temple. And now women can be witnesses at the baptism, witnesses, and can distribute, towels at baptisms for the dead. That was an early one. And now it looks like they might be looking at passing the sacrament, but God forbid breaking it or blessing it, right? They're trying to look at all these different things. And I started thinking, if Spencer Kimball, God bless his soul, had approached the priesthood issue with blacks in the same way, imagine what that would have looked like. Okay, well, you can't go through for your endowment, but you can distribute towels to people who are being baptized for the dead in the temples. And then maybe a year or two later, well, you can't baptize somebody because that takes the priesthood, but you can be a witness, okay? What Spencer Kimball did was he completely lifted the ban. He didn't take, it wasn't little piecemeal things all along the way, which never got to the place it was going to. And actually, I don't think are ever designed to get to the place where they're going to, which is giving women the priesthood, right? They'll say they have it without giving it to them as long as they're willing to believe that line. But it gave me a new appreciation for Spencer Kimball and what he did as compared to President Nelson and how he did it. There's an old saying I learned in my my mission, right? And we used it when it came to keeping commandments, right? Or stopping drinking tea or smoking or whatever it was that you have to do to get baptized. And we talk about a cat. This is in Japan. Talk about a cat with a long tail. And you have the job that you have to cut this cat's tail off all the way. Now, there's two ways you can do it. You can cut off an inch here and an inch here and an inch here and an inch here until it's finally gone, and take several days to do it, right? Or you can just cut the whole damn thing off at once. Which do you think is better? And of course, they would say that and say, okay, give me your cigarettes, and out they go. But I think that in this particular situation where I'd never thought of this saying applying to, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think that Spencer Kimball cut the tail right off, and President Nelson has just been cutting off an inch and an inch, and there's still a lot of tail left.
Yeah. Everybody didn't leave the church. There's this idea that if you really give the Mormons a healthy church. If you make healthy changes, you'll scare people like Jacob Hansen away, the unhealthy people. And Spencer Kimball showed that, yeah, we didn't explain why we did it. We left the excuses for what was going on. We allowed people to hold false views and not correct them. But they did get rid of it all in one fell swoop.
One fell swoop, Macbeth.
Yeah. And still, everybody kept going to church the next Sunday. As far as I know, it wasn't a membership crisis. It wasn't a great apostasy like we've never seen since the days of Kirtland.
It was a not so great apostasy.
It was. That's what they're in now, is the not so great apostasy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't just riffing. There were people who did leave the church over it.
Sure.
But it wasn't great.
Not enough to hurt the investment fund.
No, apparently not.
No.
Not long term anyway.
No.
We've got some people who've come in. They're in the studio. We're at 30 minutes. I would hate for them to think we're ignoring them.
No, we'll bring them on here. Just one more second. I just want to say this too. In light of someone asking about, do we think it'll happen, the family proclamation, you bringing it up, and somebody saying why we think that, and there being lots of things going on in the church right now where it's being talked about. It's also that Elder Holland just recently said that there's more scripture coming. And that
coinciding
with all the things about the family proclamation, I think also contributes to us thinking that in this moment.
Yeah, Elder Holland doesn't even know what he's talking about anymore. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's become a brief celebrity because he had this near-death experience and he came back saying, I saw Jesus. So everybody thinks he's great and they're hanging on every word, even though you're right. This is what they've been telling me since I joined the church and before then, which is we got new scripture coming. It's right around the corner. And the only reason we don't have it yet is, guess what? You guys suck.
Yeah, well, you guys suck.
The member, it's always blame the members. We're not righteous enough to get all this scripture.
Yeah, everybody tonight, you and I looking swanky, but here's another swank. Hat swank.
Hillary?
No.
Is this Hillary's brother? Matt?
Hat with two T's. Hi, Hat Swank.
What's up, gents?
What do you got?
Hillary?
Hillary's doing well, thanks.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that your real name?
It's not, no.
Okay.
Anyway, so had a couple questions for you, RFM, if that's cool.
And we'll see.
Number one,
just remind me.
It seems like after the whole Michigan deal, the church now has to deal with the precedent of the strong possibility that violence can be a thing. And I'm just wondering, what do you think about that and setting some kind of liability precedent?
It's a question, isn't it? By the way, I take your question to mean now that it's happened once, if the church doesn't respond by providing
Correct.
at least some reasonable amount of security and it happens again, would they be legally liable?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's lawyers who would take that lawsuit. It could happen. It could happen. It would be up to a jury to say, is one time happening in Michigan enough to require the church to spend millions upon millions of dollars in order to up security? And if that security gets breached, is it enough? Was it enough what they did? Was it reasonable? Or should they have done more? And all those kinds of issues. But it's a good question. Are you an attorney, Pat?
I am not.
Well,
No.
You might want to go to law school.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Second question. Sometime back, RFM, you did an episode with an acquaintance of yours who's in the stake presidency. And is a friend of yours.
He's a mission president now.
Oh, okay. So I'm curious, I'm not going to ask you outright, but if there has been or if there will be some kind of status change on your membership, is that something that you would discuss publicly?
What's your question? You mean, have I been excommunicated?
Speak
plainly, not.
Yeah, I'm curious about that, but I'm also curious about anything else that, I mean, I don't know, but it just feels like the church would definitely have enough ammo to have some kind of proceeding. I mean,
What kind of crack is that?
Really?
What do you mean by that, Mr. Swank?
No, all I
Ammo?
mean is
Enough ammo?
no, enough ammo, meaning similar to what they pulled with Nemo, which I think is a farce because he never lied. And you haven't
Wait a
lied.
second. Are you implying I did lie?
No, I know. I was just saying you don't. But I feel like they could say, well, you're doing damage by telling the truth. So, we've had enough type of thing.
If they
Yes.
can excommunicate D. Michael Quinn, they can chop you off at the knees if they wanted to. Now,
I think they like me. I think they would be sad not to have to tune in at the SEMC several times a week just to watch my jovial appearance.
but Hat makes the point, you and I have talked about this many times off the air. We've mentioned it a few times on the air, but if the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints removed the membership of John Doe, aka Radio Free Mormon, who would tell the world if RFM didn't tell the world? Who would tell the world that RFM got excommunicated? Because these are sacred proceedings. They are confidential.
Yeah.
I don't think the church could by their own rules. Of course, they violate the rules from time to time, I've heard.
Allegedly, yeah.
These are the same people who put all those things in the Deseret News years ago. It's not like they'd be setting precedent by telling the world they excommunicated you.
No, right. No, I haven't heard anything.
No.
Other than the time my stake president, who's not the stake president anymore, but he called me into his office to talk with me about a few things back in October of 2017 it was. So it was in October. It was 8 years ago on a night just like tonight. And we had a nice talk, and I had my friend come because he was a counselor. Said, "You want to come on with me?" And he did, and we had a good time. About an hour and a half, 2 hours, we had a meeting. I was still going, and the stake president was calling the meeting off because he needed to get home. But I think we had a good time together.
Isn't it weird?
And that's all I've heard.
It's weird that whatever the line is, you haven't crossed it, but Nemo, Bill Reel, John DeLynn, Kate Kelly, I can sort of get. She's pushing them to make a change. We've never done that. It seems strange that you're on the safe side of the line and others are on the wrong side of the line. I don't know. Maybe there's an anointing involved. I don't know what it is, but it sure saved Tom Phillips' ass. That's for sure.
Apparently it did, and mine so far as well.
Yeah.
Oops, I said too much.
So anyway,
but I'm not sure how it was that you were more annoying than I. Oh, that's right. That's right. You did that.
Liar.
You did the unforgivable sin. You called Elder Holland a liar.
And he was, but you can't call him that, according to my stake president,
yes,
even if he lies.
And that is why I've never called him a liar.
There you go. You said
you can't do that.
No, you said Elder Oaks is not a liar.
That's exactly what I said.
And then
I stand by those words.
And then demonstrated over and over again that he's lied.
By the way, funny that reminds me of Nixon. I am not a crook. Let me say this about that. You remember Richard Nixon? Bill, was he president when you were alive?
Before my time, at least my memory time, but yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, I was just watching All the President's Men again last night. So that's what brought it to mind. Anyway, so Hat, those are the answers to your questions.
Yep. And
We've got so many people in line. We've got to get rid of you. I apologize.
It's all good. We love you. Take it easy.
Hat, thanks for calling. Talk to you later. And go to law school. Think about that.
All right. DG in West Texas.
DG in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Lubbock, actually.
Lubbock. Woohoo.
We're West Texas.
That's from here.
That's far West Texas is El Paso.
Yeah. So you're just out in West on the Lana Estacada.
That's the one. That's Naked Plains.
Yes. And a Die Hard picture. The Nakatomi Towers in the background.
Yeah. Do you notice it's in Japanese?
Subarashi Dana.
How do you say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, in Japanese?
You're asking me?
They said, come to the party, have a few laughs.
Get a few friends together. Yeah.
He knows this one.
Actually, I picked that up on my mission in Japan back in 88. So, yeah.
Did you watch it out there?
Say again?
Were you allowed to go to the movie and watch it? It was 88. It came out, right?
No, it came out in the States before I went to Japan. But we came across this place that had a lot of old Japanese movie posters, and I just was lucky enough to pick up one. It's kind of shredded and wrinkled, where I had to bring it back in my luggage through customs back in the day. But anyway,
the Nakatomi building.
Well, they probably really liked it because they had a Japanese guy who was the head of the whole corporation.
Right.
He was like the hero until he wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I wanted to, I was listening to your podcast earlier this week about the Reed Smoot hearings, and I can't remember which one of you raised the question, but one of you raised the question and asked the other, and I'm paraphrasing here, forgive me, do you think the first presidency ever keeps or hide things from the rest of the Quorum of the 12? And I have a solid answer for that. Absolutely. If you remember, and I'm going to pull it up here because I had to look it up before the show started. There was actually a Salt Lake Tribune article back in December of 2019, December 22nd. And the title is Excerpts Show How the LDS Church Tried to Keep a Lid on Its 100 Billion Account, even freezing out Apostle Boyd K. Packer. I don't know if you remember this one or not.
Oh, I do. He was pissed.
Yeah, there's three long sentences, if you allow me. Boyd K. Packer, when he was next in line to succeed then church president Thomas S. Monson, came to Ensign Peak president Roger Clark wanting to know how much Ensign Peak had amassed and the details of its structure. Mr. Clark told Mr. Packer that he could not share such details. Mr. Packer said, quote, "I think I should know. I'm the most senior apostle and president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and I'm a breath away from being the next prophet. I think I should be prepared," end quote. Mr. Clark reaffirmed that he had been instructed not to reveal that information to Mr. Packer, who went away perturbed and unsatisfied, as related to the whistleblower by Richard B. Wills, the head of fixed income at Ensign Peak at the time. Mr. Packer died before he could join the first presidency and know the value of Ensign Peak. So, here it is in the Tribune, actual proof that they withheld information from the rest of the quorum. And
that may certainly be true, DG. That may certainly be true. And I'm not necessarily doubting it. All I'm doing is pointing out the fact that it has the obvious effect of shielding the apostles from being implicated.
Yes, absolutely. And that Packer, I'm next in line. I need to know this. And he was basically told to, sorry, you're going to have to move on.
Packer. I mean, my gosh, go ask the guy that you need to be asking. It's not me. Okay. Go ask Monson. Of course, Monson was non-compos menace.
Yeah. The only other question I had for you, RFM, is are you going to do a reprise of your General Conference telethon to find a cure over the weekend? I think that was a brilliant idea you did last time.
Thank you for bringing it up, DG. Thank you. You can finish your sentence and I'll answer.
Okay. I thought it was brilliant when you did it last time. And my suggestion when I called in earlier months ago was that you have a tote board for people that can Venmo you funds. And then, because Jerry Lewis always did the, hey-oh, let's do the tally. And then
you're right. Of course, the hey-oh part was Ed McMahon.
Right. But Jerry Lewis they would go to the tote board and watch the numbers update. So as your Venmo funding comes in,
Bill,
you can go to that. And I think,
this sounds great. Bill, can you do this?
Find a cure.
Get this going?
What we could do is, before you start the next session, we could give you total names, donations, whatever info you want in order to come into the next session of conference and inform the audience where you're at in the donation total. Otherwise, I'd have to watch all of it live with you.
Well, why don't you do that? No, you don't have to watch it. You just have to be changing the numbers, with those little the little plaques with the hooks on them and the numbers on the front.
We should have one of those like thermometers, the big giant thermometer, and the red just moves up as we're curing cancer. Yes.
I like that idea.
Well, I think
thank you. That's a great idea.
You've got the look. I mean, so tomorrow, if you just lose the bow tie and wear a towel to wipe the sweat off, you'll have Jerry Lewis down pat, I think.
Well, thank you. And sing, when you walk through a storm, keep your chin up high. Why is that funny, DG?
Because I get the joke.
Yeah. You get the joke. That's funny, right? That's a song that Jerry Lewis always closed out every telethon with.
Yeah. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Great
But,
song.
Yeah,
Great song. We grew up at a great time.
we did indeed.
We
Thank
did.
you so much. Love you guys. Enjoy what you do, and y'all have a good weekend. We'll be watching RFM's version of conference for The Cure.
It will start. Thank you. And it will start. I will start at the very beginning as we drop the hat on the close of every session, every fifth session of General Conference. We're going to do that. Okay. And I'm going to start and I'll go with whatever notes because I got to watch the thing. I'm making notes furiously. You know, it's crazy. And I'm chain smoking. I got my shirt sleeves rolled up and I'm making all the notes. And then I go live. Boom. And I tell you all my comments, what happened, what I thought was interesting, what I thought was not. And I'm going to try and get it done in 30 minutes. Okay. Honestly, sometimes they go to like 60. It would be a real shame to spend as much time talking about conference as General Conference takes. That would be a sin. That would be a cardinal sin to me. That'd be my definition of hell. But I'll try for 30 minutes. Okay. That's my goal.
It would be a sin if the Saturday evening session went longer than yours did.
Yes, actually, that would be cause for great celebration on my part. But yeah, other than that, a sin. Some sins are cause for great celebration on my part, actually.
Have a great day, DJ.
EG. See you later. I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Oh, this next person, look what we're getting ourselves into here. This is my co-host for the Almost Awakened podcast. This is Teresa. Teresa, how are you? Look at what you're wearing tonight. Look at this. Oh,
what is she wearing? Oh, wait a second.
I can't hear you. I'm going to take you back off the stage for a moment.
Can you hear me?
She probably could hear us, but we could not hear her. So she'll have to
didn't hear her. Was she talking?
I just want to say,
that was your jacket. She had your coat on.
She had my jacket on and my chain on. So,
but don't you have your chain on?
I have two of these. One's really thin and one's really thick, and she's got my heavy one. And I want to tell you what happened. I was looking for my heavy one. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I think she had this plotted out. So there's that.
You know who wears the heavy chains in your house?
I can't hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, now it's on.
Here I am. Hi, so sorry.
You look great.
Bill was just complaining about your stealing his heavy chain, Teresa.
Yes, well, there was a dress code. I understood there was a dress code, and so I had to, and I wanted to claim this. So I did hand him the black jacket and found his other chain and sort of kept this in the closet for me.
I see how this goes.
Anyway, hi, it's good to see you, RFM. You look dapper as always.
Thank you very much. I've got an orange tie on. Just got this today at the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, looks great.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I'm here to sort of make an announcement. I first wanted to big hand. So as many of you know, Bill is very interested in personal development, psychology, trauma healing. And when Bill and I first met about a year ago, he had shared with me his desire to be able to offer some things to people in this community that were geared around support, healing from being in a system like the Mormon Church. And so when I shared with him what I did for a living, he kind of got interested. And so he spent the last, say what?
What do you do for a living?
I am a certified trauma recovery coach. So I support people in healing from trauma, but my specialty is more in the line of helping people through physical or chronic health issues. So chronic pain, chronic health conditions that are connected to trauma. A lot of you have heard the concept of The Body Keeps the Score, which is a book by Bessel van der Kolk. And a lot of trauma ends up in our bodies. So I help people sort of learn how to process that. And the last year, Bill has been taking a course to get certified as a somatic trauma-informed coach. And so, he and I have been talking a lot, and we've been collaborating on ways that we could support this community. And so I just want to first offer congratulations to Bill. It's amazing. He's worked really hard this year.
You like me. You really like me.
Well, that's a lot of applause.
It is. People really love Bill around here.
He's very deserving of that. So this is, yes, go ahead, Bill. Talk about your...
I'll just say, since you're bragging about me, I'll just say this was the email I got a couple days ago. Huge congratulations. It gives me great pleasure to inform you that you've successfully passed your level 7 CMI qualification huge congratulations on your somatic trauma-informed coaching and leadership diploma. And then they need my address to send me the stuff. But yeah, I'm a trauma coach officially, at least a certified trauma coach that can do it. Now I just need some clients who I can help. So there's that.
I should be able to send some to you. You're into trauma healing. I'm into trauma causing.
Right. We should come up with a referral program, and I'll send you a check every month.
You plug them, we plant them.
I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, one of the things that we're excited to announce also, because I know people in this space have, like you move out of Mormonism and you lose connection with your community, with family a lot of times. And, moving through deconstruction for a lot of people is a really challenging experience. So Bill and I have put together a support group for people working through religious deconstruction and religious trauma. And if you want to put that up on the screen.
This one here?
Yeah, the other one. The one, if you go to support groups.
Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second here to get rid of this
up.
screen. How about
Yes.
that?
Okay. So for those interested in having a space to sort of connect around their deconstruction process, I know a lot of people are going to come at different sort of levels and stages of this. And so I think it's a place where people can help each other. It's going to be a place where you can just come to talk and share your story. And Bill and I are both going to be facilitating this group. And I'm really excited about it because I know that there's so much healing that can happen in spaces like this, especially when you've gone through something so similar as another person. And so a lot of people are going to be able to offer different resources and tools. And Bill and I will occasionally share different tools. But for the most part, we're just going to be there to facilitate and to reflect what everybody is bringing to the table. So if you are interested in that, the groups are going to start this October the 21st. It's going to be Tuesdays. And we're going to have it run like a monthly subscription. So you'll be able to, I think it's like $60 a month, and we're going to have 2 groups each month. So it'll be every other Tuesday. So it'll just be a really cool space for people to kind of get together. So is there anything else you want to add about that, Bill?
I'll just say, to get a therapist or a coach, you're going to pay, minimum $150 to, I've seen some of these folks charge $400 or $500 for an hour of their time. To be able to get those tools and resources, but to save the cost by doing it in a group setting and also have the community of that, you essentially are paying $30 a session, $60 a month. And it gives you a great opportunity, I think, to have a regular occurrence where you're sitting down with people who have been on the similar journey that you've been on, and to have access to their experiences and the resources and tools of those who have been trained to help people in these situations. I think it's a great opportunity all around.
Well, and I'll just say, Bill is incredible, as all of you know. And so you're going to have him there as well to be reflecting back and supporting you, as he's done for many, many years. But this will be a kind of different way to do that. And I'm really excited. So
How do
that's
people
all I'm
sign
here to
up?
share. They come to this website, which Bill will probably put somewhere in some place.
Yeah,
It's on the screen.
Yeah, the easiest way to say is if you go to awakenandthrive.org, this is the website. And if you just scroll down just a little bit from the top, so there's the top, scroll down just a little bit, you see support groups, click to join support group, and it takes you right to that page. And then all you have to do is go down here to the bottom and click sign up there. And you're off and running. You just got to read a little bit and start filling out the registration.
Cool.
So I'm really looking forward to folks a chance to help people. And hey, we've all had things happen to us, both in and outside of religion. Nobody escapes this life not getting some trauma handed to them. And it affects how we show up in our day-to-day life. It affects how we show up in relationships. It affects how we show up managing our feelings and reacting to things on the daily. And if you find that you have things that have happened to you that have led to you responding to the world in ways that you wish you could grow out of or be better with or deal with in a healthier way, then I think this is a really cool opportunity.
Yeah. And one last thing I'll just say is we're capping this group at 15. And if there seems to be more interest, we're going to try and open up a couple other groups. But again, this will be every other Tuesday, and we'll figure out if another group is needed. So
That's
That's what
Tuesday
I-
evening.
Tuesday evening, sorry, 6 p.m. Yeah, Mountain Time. So,
Okay,
all the
great.
important details. Thank you, RFM.
Now go put my jacket and my chain back.
Woman.
Sure
Somebody in the chat said you wore it better, and I'd have to agree.
thing. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right. Great seeing you
Bill
guys.
just needs a little rouge.
Take it easy, Teresa.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice seeing you. Oh, there we go.
All right.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was super cool. Although, yeah, but she did look good in my jacket. I'm not sure I want to let that
Girls
happen.
look good in men's jackets.
They
And
do.
in shirts.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a law of nature.
Somebody says that's her jacket now, so probably true. Well, there's that. Back to the slideshow here, just to show. I don't want that one. What do I got here? Let's take that off.
Want the other one?
This here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got going on here? What is happening
Well-
with Jacob Hansen?
Apparently some person has okay, here's the deal. Everybody knows what happened in Michigan last I'm so sorry. Sunday. Last Sunday, it was at church. And at a Mormon church in Michigan. And it got shot up and burned to the ground, 4 people dead. The shooter was killed on the scene by responding law enforcement. So the shooter was married, or at least in a relationship. I think he was married to this lady. They had a child, a small child with some medical problems. And for whatever reason, some Mormons, not the Mormon church, by the way, the Mormon church is not doing dick. Okay. But some Mormons are getting together. And I believe there's one in particular who started a GoFundMe for the dead guy, the shooter's wife and child. And I think it's open to anybody, like most GoFundMes are, but there's a lot of Mormon contributions, I understand, being made. It's up to around 300,000 at this point. And a number of Mormons, the usual suspects, including Jacob Hansen here depicted in this thumbnail from his show, which has a Washington Post headline, Mormons raised 200,000. It's not just Mormon news sources like the Mormon newscast or whatever, right? This is actually being picked up by major media. Mormons raised $200,000 for family of gunmen who attacked their church. And he's saying, this is my religion, and I'm sure he's going to brag all over it, because it appears that this is an opportunity that Mormons think they can seize upon to use as a missionary opportunity. And nothing says cynical quite like using a horrible, atrocious thing like this as a missionary opportunity, but Mormons don't seem to be able to resist. There are some people who think this is a good thing. I think most people look at it and think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. Okay. I think this is the kind of crazy insanity that Christianity can lead one to. For instance, Erica Kirk, when they had the memorial within a week of her husband being shot and leaving her without a husband and their 2 little kids without a dad, she said she forgave the guy who shot. That, I think, okay, look, I'm just going to tell you how I feel, okay? Why should I stop now, right? I think that's crazy. And either she meant it or she didn't make it. She didn't mean it. And if she didn't mean it, she's lying. And if she meant it, she's got mental issues. Okay? Because I don't think anybody with their head screwed on straight is going to forgive somebody who murdered their husband in front of them and their 2 little kids within a week of it happening. I think that these are the demands that many Christians feel are put upon them by their religion, and that they feel like they're supposed to say that kind of nonsense. In my mind, it's nonsense. Now, it's possible that she really believes it, that she's been given some kind of outpouring of the Holy Ghost to allow her to do something that would be superhuman, almost inhuman, under any similar circumstances. But I get the idea that what they're trying to do now in promoting this, like Jacob Hansen, is they're trying to out Erica Kirk. They are certainly using this in an attempt to show that Mormons are Christian. See, this is my religion. Christianity and the Michigan, and it's going to be about the Michigan shooter, right? Because early on, my gosh, this was just last Sunday, wasn't it? Early on, what had happened was that there was some podcaster, someone of some note, not a Mormon, but some Christian of another denomination, who had said that we differ in stuff, but we Christians want to be in solidarity with you Mormons over this horrible thing that happened. It's atrocious, no matter who it happened to. And it's just terrible. And we want to, be in solidarity with you, which a lot of Mormons, instead of reading the intent, got hung up on the words, and they let the words get in the way, and an argument ensued. In other words, there's an olive branch being offered, and the argument comes back about the fact that the Mormons are Christian. That's where the argument is. We're going to argue about whether we're Christian. And that's why those two things have gotten linked together now, I think, in the Mormon perception and maybe somewhat in the public perception. But I can hardly wait to get back to the house after tonight's show and go through the live chat, because I'm sure a lot of people think I'm a horrible person. But it just strikes me as asking for and expecting, demanding in some sense, things that are not only, I think, not achievable in any realistic sense, and I'm talking about forgiveness, okay? But I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's healthy to do that, to insist upon it. Ultimately, maybe that time will come, but I get a sense that there's a performative aspect to both. How's that? Okay, there's a performative aspect to both. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, okay? Last thing I'm going to say about this, and the reason I really have reservations about it, is, do they think at all about the consequences of what they're doing? And I mean beyond violating Jesus's prescription that when you give your alms, don't do it in public, right? Because if you do, well, you'll get your reward from men. That's the glory they're getting, because they want people to join the church. They want the glory, but you don't get the glory in heaven because you already got your glory from people. So not only are they violating that, what they're doing is they're increasing the odds that there will be future violence against Mormons in their churches. If you pay people to shoot up churches, I mean, do I even need to finish the sentence? So I think that is of great concern. If you want to do this kind of thing, go ahead and do it, but do it the way Jesus said, and don't be public about it, because I think what you're doing is you're putting people, it may not be a lot, and I can't calculate it, but I do believe that this is putting people, Mormon people in Mormon churches, at greater risk than they would otherwise be, by giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to the family of the person who did the violence in the first place and was killed in the process. Because he knew he wasn't coming home. He wasn't coming home from this. That wasn't part of the plan. And at some point, it may have gone through his head, because this has been building for a long time. If I do this and I can't come home, what happens to my wife and my kid when I'm gone? Those thoughts can have a tamping down effect on violence. And if you take it away, then that's just one more restraint that a person of this mind does not have to overcome.
It sort of goes along with don't negotiate with terrorists, right? We don't negotiate with terrorists, right? Because if you negotiate with a terrorist, there'll be more terrorists. If you pay the terrorist to stop doing the terrorist act that he's doing, more terrorists will do terrorist acts so they can get paid to stop the terrorist acts that they're doing.
I want to be clear. I'm not wishing this. I'm not predicting it. I don't want that to happen, but it seems to me rather obvious. And I was talking to you about this on the phone before the show, Bill, remember? And I got halfway through this, and you had already concluded it, and you said it. And I went, okay, so it's not just me. This is something that we should expect people of average intelligence to be able to predict, to foresee, and maybe not to do. But they're so intent on trying to get people to join the Mormon church that they may be putting Mormons at greater risk than they would otherwise be.
For every person who is fucking nuts and does an insanely crazy thing, there are 10 people who don't but who are on the verge of doing a crazy thing.
Mhm.
And if I'm on the very fence and I read that if I do something to Mormons, Mormons will fundraise on behalf of my family,
Mhm.
I might do something to Mormons.
Think about, by the way, I don't need to get into the whole pathology of this, okay? But think about a lot of the thoughts that come along with people like this. And there's thoughts of worthlessness and not being good enough. And $300,000, when would I ever be able to earn $300,000 for my wife and kid who might need, some medical assistance? I wouldn't. So I would never be able to do that. So wouldn't it be better then for me to go ahead and do this other thing so that maybe they'll get that money?
I also think it's strange, right? We just had a major event just a short moment before all of this where
Mhm.
Tyler Robinson gets on the roof of a building. By the way, how many people are we going to let get on roofs within shooting distance of people, popular, well-known people on stages? Seems like somebody in security's got to start looking at roofs of buildings. It seems like the most obvious place that a shooter would want to be. So I'll just say that we just had this moment where Tyler Robinson gets on the roof of a building and assassinates Charlie Kirk. And Tyler Robinson turns out to be a Mormon connected to Mormonism. His family, they're Mormons. And they don't do anything in that direction. But
Who's
when
they?
the people doing GoFundMes, the people giving money,
Raising a GoFundMe for Tyler Robinson's family?
yeah, it seems like this Mormon family whose kid went off the deep end and committed this atrocious act is just as deserving in the Mormon arena of getting a GoFundMe in their favor as the person who did harm to the Mormons himself and his family. And I just think it's a strange thing. Somebody in the chat mentioned it's virtue signaling. And I think to some degree that's true. There's a certain reason why when the harm went this direction, that everyone wants to send money to the family to signal that we Mormons don't hold grudges. In fact, we'll go out of our way to help out the people who harm us. That may be true at certain moments.
Or at
That's
least the
not-
families of the people that harm us.
Yeah, but that's not true in other moments of Mormon history. And the other thing I'll say here too, to forgive immediately, again, it is taught in Christianity. If someone smacks your face, you turn the other cheek. If someone takes your jacket, you give them your coat too. We have this, Christ centered teachings that implore upon us to be forgiving, but also it's human nature to go through the stages of grief. And I think when you shortcut those or try to find a workaround, I think in the long run, you may do yourself more damage than good. I think you do have
And
to.
you have it from a trauma coach right there. I just
Yeah.
thought all of a sudden I was realizing, you're speaking with some degree of training. And I know you've read so much. Bill, you've done so much over years and years now, even before I started listening to you. You're very in tune with this kind of stuff. So I'm glad to hear that you agree with my assessment because I've got none of your training.
I was in a Sunday school once here in Utah. I'd moved away from Ohio, and they were talking about this forgiveness thing. And I was still active in the church, but I wasn't exactly believing anymore. I knew the issues and I knew they didn't add up. And they were talking about forgiveness and if you get slapped, turn the other cheek. And I immediately in my head, I knew that's not true. If I stood up right now in this class and walked up to that son of a bitch who said that, and by the way, he was kind of an asshole, so I can get away with saying that because he really was. But if I walked right up to him and I just punched him in the face for no reason at all, middle of church, he's talking about forgiveness. And I said, oh yeah, and just socked him right in the face. You think he's like, yep, here, hit me again. No, he's not going to do that. That's nonsense. We say a lot of things in Mormonism that we really don't believe. And it goes from so many things. The kid in Young Men says he's not masturbating. Yes, he is. The grown man says he's not looking at porn. Yes, he is. People are doing things, believing things, behaving in ways, pretending their life is so perfect. And it is so full of things going on that aren't in the church's up and up. And we have been just taught, you said Mormonism makes liars of us all, but it does so from the age of 18 months forward. And to say we should forgive, yeah, maybe there's some truth to that. There's also some truth to, you've experienced something that was tragic. It took things away from you that you never saw coming, and on some, mercy and justice you never deserved. And the hard things that happen to you, you have a right to feel those, to experience all the stages of grief, and to not just be pressured by a religious system to skip over that and do some sort of bypassing.
Yeah. Well put. Well put. By the way, I think John Galt has joined us.
What do you think, John? Do you forgive everybody immediately, or
I can't see you.
Yeah, I've turned my camera off,
But are you shrugging?
I am shrugging.
Okay.
How did you know?
It was in the name, kind of.
Well,
My Ayn Rand is a bit rusty.
As is mine. That's all right. I just want to echo everything you're saying by way of a second anecdote. I was in the district high council of the Eagle Pass district in Texas when the Uvalde school shooting happened.
Oh my gosh.
The church was very slow to provide any kind of community response. And I found myself extremely frustrated a year later when they were still talking about how they could respond in support to the community. And their big idea was to have the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square come and do a concert in Uvalde. Explain to me how that would be in any way beneficial to families who had lost their children. It's not an interest of making sure that people can get what's best for them and get the healing that they need. It's so that we can do this missionary work and focus on how great the church is and convert more people.
Yes.
Now, with this situation that we're dealing with right now, we're doing everything that we were taught in General Conference. You have James E. Faust in 2006 giving a talk titled "The Healing Power of Forgiveness" and recounting the story of an Amish community who experienced a very violent encounter and decided to forgive that person. And if you look that talk up on YouTube, everybody's commenting and saying, this is exactly what we need right now. Prayers for Grand Blanc, Michigan, all of those things. So they're not even being original in their ideas. They're just perpetuating what they've already been taught and told, this is how you're supposed to do these things, without thinking about the repercussions that you both have brought up already.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they'll forgive these people, but God help them if they'll forgive me or Bill.
Yep, exactly.
Where's my GoFundMe? That's what I want to know, Jacob. Why don't you do the Christian thing and start a GoFundMe for Radio Free Mormon?
Isn't that crazy? Sam Young, what this guy did, forgiveness, no biggie. Sam Young just said, hey, how about we have a second adult in the room so we don't cause more abuse with children? And they said, no soup for you. They sent him away.
Well, he shamed them. He publicly shamed them. And rightfully so. They deserve to be publicly shamed. Where they would not come down to talk with him, and he dramatized that brilliantly. Brilliantly. And so they said, okay, I think we've had enough of this guy. The kids be damned. This guy's got to go.
And therein lies the difference. They don't want to be publicly shamed. They only want to be publicly praised.
Right. That's why I wanted to make it clear that this is not the church giving any money. To my knowledge, okay, I don't know every in and out on this, but if the church had given any money, I'm sure they would have announced it. But this is a Mormon who started a GoFundMe, to which a lot of Mormons have contributed, and probably a lot of other people who are planning violence against churches, because you got to support the home team.
Strange stuff. Anything else, John?
I do have a question that's completely unrelated. Now, Radio Free Mormon, as a lawyer, with your profession,
Okay,
heard
the meter's running. Where do I send the bill?
And you can send it to your GoFundMe that's being established right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I've heard it brought up a lot that the church was engaged in human trafficking or sex trafficking, and I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Now, for
But
the
what do you mean by that? That phrase has
Uh,
become so amorphized as to be virtually meaningless to me anymore. What do you mean?
yes, I agree, and that's part of my question. So, with the elements of the crime in a court of law, you're trying to prove A, B, and C elements happened, and therefore this crime took place. And I think the hardest part that we come across is that in order for sex trafficking to have taken place, someone has to be involved in a commercial sex act under force, fraud, or coercion.
We're basically talking prostitution, aren't we? But for some reason, prostitution, nobody likes to use that word anymore.
Sort of. I mean, I think there's plenty of evidence to show that there was fraud and coercion taking place with members in Europe being brought to Utah without understanding that there was going to be
way back then.
way back then, not currently.
Okay. Statute of limitations definitely run, but go ahead.
Yes. So my question is, how would you go about looking, or how would one go about looking at the history and showing that there was some kind of a commercial sex act that was taking place? Because yes, these women were entering into marriages. Yes, most of those marriages were likely fraudulent in that they didn't realize there would be in polygamous marriages. But where is the exchange of money for that marriage, or the exchange of goods and services for that marriage, which would actually meet the statutory definition that people are trying to place on this?
Yeah, I'm not sure that there is any, but I think that it's pretty clear they didn't pay them. I mean, they had to front their own money, right? They had to pay their own way. It's like missionaries. You don't get paid for go out and serve the church for 2 years. You got to do it on your own dime. And they were willing to do that. And, on the other hand, I also don't think there's a lot of question that a lot of these women were taken out of foreign countries and even within the United States and taken out to Utah, especially, started in Nauvoo. And then they were being trafficked by the leaders of the church for sexual purposes under the guise of marriage. So I think I think those facts definitely happened. What I don't know is what statute that would have to fall under for sexual trafficking. I think it's horrendous no matter what statute it falls under.
And if you're going to get into like the legality of a term, and the term has to involve some sort of exchange of money or commercialization of the act, okay. But unhealthy men misleading young, attractive women, giving them only the amount of information that will best serve your purpose of getting them here, and having them have made such a commitment to get to the United States, to get to where the Mormons were, only to then find out that polygamy is a thing, and they're being asked to join it, and this may be the only group they have any easiness of belonging to it. There's so many things that are putting pressure on them to go along with the idea of marrying an older church leader, that the manipulation is bound to have some benefit to the old guys in actually getting these women to agree to that. That may not be the legal term of trafficking, but unhealthy old men trying to get young, attractive women to be their sexual partners. I think we've all watched that story play out enough in all parts of world history.
Yes, to distinguish me, I'm a healthy old man.
Yeah.
Fully agree with both of you.
Healthier than Brigham Young, healthier than Heber C. Kimball. Not that requires much.
Of course, I didn't make the 111-day trek to Salt Lake Valley either.
Yeah.
They're probably pretty healthy, actually. But I know you're talking about morally, emotionally.
Martha Brotherton, that's trafficking in the, forget legality, in the what we mean by saying it, somehow tricking, holding women against their will, bringing them into situations where they feel a high amount of pressure
Mhm.
to sleep with people they would not have slept with otherwise.
Right.
Mormonism did that over and over and over again.
And she did not, by the way.
No,
Just trying to
Good on
protect her honor.
Nancy Rigdon too. Good on her too.
Well, John, we got to let you go. We got Tim
Thank you, bro.
Rathbone, come not between a dragon and his wrath. Bone,
Gacy.
waiting to come on the show.
John Galt, not John Wayne Gacy. All right, here we go. Tim Rathbone.
Good evening.
Good
How are you?
evening.
I'm very angry right now.
You look angry. Is that your angry face? You look like
Sure.
you look like that guy you had a picture of. Stout. You look like Hosea Stout right now. You're so angry. Now
Okay.
you don't look angry at all. See?
I just
Yes,
listened
humor.
to Hidden True Crime broadcast.
You were looking like that until about 10 seconds ago.
Okay.
Same beard,
Yeah.
same eyes, same.
Same Brill
Same-
cream. Remember Brill cream, Tim?
Oh, hell yeah. My dad used it. I used it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
You know,
my
I
God.
didn't go out to many fancy places when I was a kid. I went to church once, and it was Easter, and man, the greasy kid stuff would come out and get shellacked down, and all of us boys would look like absolute nerds.
Oh, yeah. And always had a comb in your pocket, right? I always
Yes.
had a comb in my back pocket.
What are you mad about? What were you mad about?
I just listened to Hidden True Crimes broadcast right before you guys.
Yeah,
and the
with
shooter,
Matthias.
Lauren.
Yeah. Lauren. And the shooter's family has raised more money than the 4 who have died. More money has been donated to that family than the 4 have died.
Send the fucking money to them. Send them the fucking money.
Like I always said, crime
Exactly.
pays. Crime pays, Tim.
I
Crime
just-
pays.
I couldn't believe it when I was fuck MAGA. Fuck MAGA. I mean, are you
Why is MAGA
shitting me?
responsible for this?
Yeah.
Well,
I know
the
you're always
MAGA
mad at
cult-
MAGA, but I don't see how MAGA has anything to do with the fact that crazy ass Mormons are shipping money by the buttload to the
No, I'm
family of the
talking
guy
about
who
the
shot up their
shooter.
members and burned their church to the fucking.
I'm talking about the shooter. The shooter has gotten more money
He's dead.
total than the 4 who have died.
He's dead. He's dead, Jim.
I know.
Little Star Trek humor there. He's dead.
I'm a
Jim.
doctor, not a bricklayer.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer. But he's dead. He's gone. He shuffled off this mortal coil. It's his wife.
It's his wife.
widow, and little child who are getting all of this moolah, this boon coming from the Mormons. Do you think this boons will turn into baptisms?
Probably.
Well, there is a little hurdle called the missionary discussions that a person has to get over. That and Google. I think this is unseemly. I think this is unseemly what these Mormons are doing. People are going ooh and ah, and I'm just
Well,
going, "You gotta be
And
shitting."
and they say any extra money we're going to give to the church. So any money they've raised over and above
What?
on their
Over and above what?
GoFundMe, on the GoFundMe page, it says any money we get that we don't need to pay for the funerals and whatever, we're going to donate to the church.
Because the church really effing needs it.
Oh yeah, they goddamn fucking need that money. Goddamn them fuckers. God, excuse me. God, so
I ain't heard that somewhere. Have you
Yeah.
confirmed that, Tim? Is that really true? Have you confirmed that?
yes, it's on the GoFundMe page. Rebecca talked about it, and I checked
Oh,
it
okay,
out.
but
Yeah.
that's why I ask if you've confirmed it.
I've confirmed it. Yeah, when Rebecca did her thing, I went and confirmed it. On oh my fucking God, are you shitting me?
I hope you're not watching, Rebecca. I didn't mean it. You know how she gets, Tim.
No, but okay, let's go back to forgiveness. Why should we forgive a church that doesn't apologize?
Well, I don't know. I was talking about the forgiveness for the killer and the family.
Okay, I understand that, but there's another point.
Yes.
I mean, on June 3rd, 2001, Bishop Rick Davis and Brother McBride came down off the stand and told me I was not welcomed anymore at church, and that I was not welcome in any church, that I had to leave. They wouldn't let anybody give me a ride home or anything.
So you had to walk?
Yeah, I walked
Was this
back
in
to where I
Utah?
was staying. No, this was in California, Hesperia, California.
Why? What were you doing?
This was after I was excommunicated. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting in the back of the chapel.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do anything. My family was there. I didn't do anything. To this day, I don't know why.
So that's been almost 25 years ago. It's been over 24.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Whoa. Excusez-moi. But, this obviously has left a mark, a
Oh,
scar.
deep scar, deep
Yeah.
mark. Yeah. I mean, embarrassed. The people I served for 15 years, you know, being an elders quorum president, presidencies and bishoprics, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, we don't want you here anymore. Get out. Go. Wouldn't let me call anybody. Wouldn't let me anything.
It's kind of like the Borg from Star Trek. You're only useful if we can assimilate you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we will allow our members to spend untold amounts of money in order to get you baptized. That's how much we're interested in assimilation.
Yeah. Right. My mission, I saw 2 baptisms, I think, in Germany.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot for Germany.
My recollection was that the average, because my friend served in Austria, the average was this back in the early 80s, late 70s, one half
Yes,
one half
1.5.
baptism per missionary
Yes. That's about
for
right.
the whole 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
dad said $125, $130 a month for me to, do that.
How old are you, Tim?
71.
Wow. Okay, because I'm 65, and I recall $125 a month as well. Maybe it's 250 by the I can't remember. I'm sorry. Whatever it was, that was back in the time when everybody paid the same amount into the church, period. Right? And then the
That,
church. Is that
and
true?
that's when
No. It depended on the mission you went to. If you had
yes,
a mission that had a bad exchange rate, you had to pay more, I think, back then. Now
right.
it's the same, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
I
have to
think
pay a little
so.
bit more because in Japan, blah, blah, blah. It's the late 70s. Thank you, Jimmy Carter. And but yeah, I remember that. Always looking forward to the end of the month or the beginning of the next month in order to get some money out of the bank.
Oh,
Just-
Bill found it.
Well, no, this is a different one. So this is one of the
Okay.
this is one of the victims
Oh,
of the
good.
shooting. This isn't somebody who got killed. There were 4 deaths, I think, in this incident.
Yeah.
But
He didn't
this
get killed.
person who got
Yeah.
shot in the abdomen, he's had multiple surgeries, but he was part of that event. He just lived through it, but has got a tough road ahead of him. I'll just say, this is who we should have been raising money for.
Yeah.
Is the folks who were the victims or the loved ones of the victims who have to pick up the pieces after that. But it is a strange thing. It is a strange thing. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to the shooter's family. Meanwhile, lots of people got hurt or killed,
Mhm.
and they're seeing little to nothing.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person. I admit it. I revel in it, okay? I wallow in my own crapulence. But I wonder how this guy feels. I'm not
The
even
one who
part
was-
of it. I'm just an observer from the other side of the country, okay?
You mean
understand.
the guy that was shot?
in the belly who's getting 60,000 on the GoFundMe, and that other family's got 300,000.
Well,
I mean, you can be grateful for what you get and say it's better than a sharp stick in the eye, or you
Yeah.
can compare it and say, "What the hell's going on?" And thanks a lot, Mormons, for having my back.
yeah.
It's a crazy
I-
thing.
It's insane. You know, I mean, I never thought about doing anything to a church. I mean, we used to have these discussions in priesthood meeting about, what would it be like when people start to protest? Oh, they'll just stand out there with signs and protest us, you know. I never imagined somebody driving a truck into a chapel, burning it down and killing people.
No,
It's insane. Just
absolutely.
fucking insane.
It is absolutely insane.
All right,
It is.
you've used the F word more times than we can allow. We love the F word, but you've used it 13 times in the public broadcasting system only allows 14, and I don't want to run it that close.
Okay. No
Thank
more
you.
efforts.
All
Just
right,
be glad you don't live in George Carlin's time.
But can we talk for a moment about the event in Phoenix and how it reflects on a certain talk by Himmler in February 1943
No,
after the Germans lost Stalingrad? And
no,
he
we can't
said,
talk about that, Tim.
okay.
But mainly because we just hit an hour and 30 minutes, and we still got
Oh.
Dane Campbell to get on the show. By the way, nobody
Oh.
else come in. Nobody else come in. Okay.
Okay, Dave.
all right, take it
Hey,
easy.
It was sounding
By
like
the
it was going
way,
to get decidedly
just
political.
want to let you know
Kind of-
that I could not hear John Galt. I had to turn up my TVs so I could hear him. I couldn't hear him in the chat when you were talking to him. Anyway, just
We seem to hear him fine, but yeah, that's weird.
Was anybody else
technical thing.
have that problem? Can you let us know in the live chat?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
anybody else having trouble hearing? Did you
And-
see anything in the live chat about that, Bill?
No,
No.
I could hear him through my TV, but I couldn't hear him here waiting in the waiting room, which was
You-
interesting.
Gotcha.
You're in the
Anyway.
waiting room?
Well, I was in the waiting room. You know,
What
you
waiting
had me in the green room.
Yeah, down
Oh, I
below.
thought you were at the
Down
hospital again.
below. I was down below.
I thought you were at the hospital again, Tim.
No, I'm home.
Okay, well, that's
I'm
good.
home. I'm home.
Gotta
But
stay away from
thank
the hospital. People die in there.
Oh, one more thing. Mike Quinn was not excommunicated for that paper.
Oh, you want to bring this up? Okay, pal. Go ahead.
Mike was excommunicated for the article in Maxine's book, The Women That Had the Priesthood Since 1843.
You see, I
That
saw your
was-
comment on that in the live chat from Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm right. I don't know that you're right, but you're pretty smart, so you're probably right. All I know is that I definitely heard that at one point, though I can't vouch for the source. That was my understanding.
Mike
We're talking
told
about
me.
it for paper that D. Michael Quinn wrote that got him excommunicated. I had said it was the one about post manifesto polygamy. Tim says no, it was this other paper. And go ahead, say it again, Tim.
Women have the priesthood since 1843. It's in Maxine's book, Women and Authority. And that is straight from Mike, by the way. When we
Well,
talked,
he's a great guy. And
One
I
more-
love the man.
One more question in regards to D. Michael Quinn. There are people in the apologist circles and pointing to the church having excommunicated him because he was homosexual. But if I'm not mistaken, the church didn't learn of his homosexuality until after they were already going after him.
No, it was known, but that's not the reason.
Yeah.
You know, they tried. Somebody from the church called his mother and said they were from American Express, trying to find him when he was down in New Orleans. And his mother didn't say anything. That's when they were trying to find him to X him. He was down in New Orleans. So I think they knew about it, but Mike told me the reason was that one paper is basically what did it. After everything he had done, that was the linchpin that Packer and Benson couldn't stand. So they, you know.
If he could have only set down his historian need to record history and put the truth out, he would have been an apostle someday.
That's right, because he was
Well-
blessed by Spencer Kimball.
Exactly. Spencer Kimball gave him a blessing telling me he was going to be an apostle.
I understand it was
Right.
in between smooches. Smooches.
Take it easy, Tim.
You two guys, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And now we have our next and last guest on the show tonight, Dane Campbell.
Hey,
Hi,
RFM.
everybody. I'm Dane Campbell.
How you doing,
Great, thank you.
Bill?
Doing
I
great.
know you're over time. I just wanted to.
It's okay. You can take a few more. We gave Tim a lot. We have to humor him. Otherwise, he becomes irrational.
Yeah, he was a little angry tonight.
He wants to talk about Stalingrad. I
Hey,
cut that one off at the pass, just like Hannibal.
RFM, I just wanted to give you a little pep talk.
Pep talk?
Yeah, to
You think I
hang
need a
in
pep
there.
talk, Dane?
This weekend, you're going to
Oh.
have some brain cells dying.
I do.
And,
I will.
Yeah, so just hang tough. And we appreciate you being there so that none of the rest of us have to be.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to it. By the way, Bill went the extra mile and he made some great thumbnails. So there's a different one for each session. There's 5 all in all,
Nice.
featuring me and different poses. All those kind of things. So
Did he get this one?
that's the one I got to fight against.
Yeah.
That is the one. But you see, the thing that keeps me from nodding off, as boring as it is and probably will be, although there might be a few things to actually talk about.
Yeah.
There
Well,
have to be a few things to talk about, actually.
you
Even
would
if they didn't
think,
do it, it would be something we're talking about. Like, we got
well,
no
you would
president now.
think-
What? We only got 14 apostles in the quorum of the 12 instead of the customary 15 apostles in the quorum of the 12.
right. Well, you would think, but when you look at large world events, the 15 are largely silent when it comes to anything. They just, you don't hear anything.
Yes.
And it's really frustrating.
They have
for
intentionally made themselves irrelevant.
leaders to be so goddamn silent.
Mhm.
If they do see around corners, maybe they could share a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe they could fuck up a little less. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
It's
know. It's like
possible.
they're on Cancun Beach or something, just like kicking back and
They're phoning it in.
yeah.
These guys are phoning it in at General Conference. In fact, they're so bad that I've actually predicted, though I hope I'm wrong, that there will be no specific reference to Michigan.
Yeah. I
Even though
would,
it's
I
going to
would
be a
be,
week afterward, and even less than a
Mhm.
week tomorrow on Saturday. I hope they mention it. I said they should get some of those people to come in and talk in General Conference, but they should mention it. But there is such a penchant that they have for detaching the proceedings of General Conference from anything that's actually
Right.
happening
right.
in the world that's my prediction. They won't even mention it. They might just, talk in general terms, but not specifically. We'll see. Maybe they'll want to talk. Maybe they'll want to make sure everybody knows that if you go in and kill Mormons and burn their church down, you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars too from the Mormons.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to make sure everybody gets that message.
Yeah. Well, there will be plenty of references to President Nelson and all of the fantastic changes that he made over the course of his governance of the church. So
This is the difficulty. Because you would expect that, yes. And
Yeah.
yet, Elder Oaks, it's his time to shine, damn it. And all those quotes from President Nelson need to be switched to quotes from President Oaks now. In all those freaking
Okay,
talks, they're all
so-
completely interchangeable, of course. They're
so
blah
let's-
blah. They're
let's see
just
if this
they're
happens.
pablum
Let's
quotes.
see if in the first conference that Oaks is taking over, if the switch happens and people start quoting Yokes.
Wouldn't that be weird if suddenly in this conference,
Mm.
all of a sudden it is, I'd like to share a quote with you from our dear President Oaks, who said that, we don't offer any apology, whatever it is, but
Yes.
Yeah.
And when he said it's wrong to criticize leaders of the church, even if the criticism is true.
Nelson just died. So it's like they switched on it instantly.
Nothing he said matters anymore.
He's
There's the question.
worth less than a old comic book or a classic car.
I got some old comic books. I had some old comic books that would be worth some money today.
I'll buy you guys dinner if he gets up there and says, hey, that whole Mormon thing, don't worry about that. That was stupid.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. I would love it if he did. Obviously, you want to save your money and not buy us dinner. I'm a little offended by that, Dane.
I would love it.
I'm getting the surf and turf RFM. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to ride Dane for whatever he's got.
But he said it's only going to happen if this guy gets up and says, it's okay to say Mormon now.
I got to say, Dane, you've got a little bit of the crazy eyes in the beard too. Not as bad as Tim.
Yes, you do. That is
But
like
yeah.
that.
His lips, is terse the right word? His lips.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think it's pursed. So it's pretty grim. I feel like he's making kissy faces at me.
Didn't they have to sit in that position for like a long time for those photographs to work? Like the exposure time was
For some amount of time.
was really,
It's like taking
and
a
he
picture at night
probably
now for us.
just developed the need to take a crap while he was waiting for it to, show up.
No, this is Hosea Stout's resting bitch face.
All right, Dane. Thank you
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Hey,
calling. Thanks for
you
calling.
guys.
And by the way,
Keep
I will
up
tell
the
you,
great
bye-bye.
work.
What?
Love what you do. You guys are awesome. So thanks for continuing to route out all the bullshit in the world and keep truth at the forefront. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Dane. Bye-bye. By the way, so here on the Pacific Coast, the sessions go from 9 to 11, 1 to 3, 5 to 7 on Saturday. So as soon as, and I know in Utah, it's an hour different. It's 10 to 12, 2 to 4, and 6 to 8, right?
10 to 12, 2 to 4, 6 to 8.
Because there's 2 hours in between, and each session is 2 hours, okay? And then the same thing on Sunday, except no evening session. So as soon as that session's over, I'm going to go live. Boom, okay? So they're in Utah. If it's the first session is 10 to 12, I'll go live at noon. Second session is 2 to 4, I'll go live at 4. Last session 6 to 8, right? I'll go live at 8 or whenever it's over, and it may be over earlier. But the same on Sunday, okay? So I just want to make sure everybody knows when it is I'll be going live, so you don't miss a thrilling minute.
These are always huge. By the way, you should definitely plug donations a ton, plug likes and subscribes, all that kind of stuff you do. But this is something that does super well. When you've done these the last 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is that you've done them, they get tons of views. They get tons of new subscribers. I am amazed at how many people watching the conference review become subscribers and regular followers of our channel. That was
I
the
got to
thing.
tell you, that's why I continue to do this.
Yeah.
The second time I did it, I don't want to even do this. This is too much to ask.
Yeah, it's
To
gross.
ask any human being to sit through all of General Conference, really, it's bad. And any of you who've watched any General Conference know what I'm talking about. But then to do this, right? So I wasn't going to do it. And then Wendy said, well, was it popular last time? And I said, well, I can go check. And I went, holy crap, it was. They all were. Okay, it looks like I'm locked in. Here we go.
I feel like we all can just sit for just a moment and recognize that RFM takes a little bit of what Jesus took in the Garden of Gethsemane, just a little bit of what Jesus did. And I don't know that you'll bleed blood as it, sweat as it were, great drops of blood or whatever. But I will say this, that you couldn't, if you said, Bill, I'll give you $500 right now. If you sit and watch all 10 hours of conference, I'd go, nah, you can just keep your $500. I really don't want to sit in Mormonism and watch it play out in real time. Kind of gross.
$50 an hour.
It's kind of gross.
It's really, really difficult. But I will tell you that what I'm doing, instead of being like Jesus taking upon himself the sins of the world, I'm just taking upon me the sins of the apostles of the LDS Church.
Yeah, that might be worse. It might be worse.
And then I get to try and expatiate them, or whatever the hell the word is. No, expiate them would be the word. Expiate them as I talk about them afterward. So I got to do that 5 times in quick. I have to go through 5 gardens of Gethsemane.
The second anointing covereth a multitude of sins. I'll just say one more thing here, not on him. Crazy eyes can go
No
away.
wonder Jesus said, let this cup pass from me.
We can end the show now. We can cover this some other
Oh,
time.
no, we'll do this at another time, but there is something we have to cover.
Okay.
Who's your favorite? Who's the odds-on favorite for the new apostle? Here's Elder Kaze, who was I think he's still in the presiding bishopric. I think might be the presiding bishop. He's in the right position. He's been there a long time. He might be the new apostle. He's a favorite.
He's church broke. This guy's done shit where he's helped them cover up things. This guy's church broke. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a great selection for the quorum of the 12.
And then there's Elder Corbett. A lot of people have been talking about him as a favorite that a lot of people would like to see, a black man being called as an apostle. I'm not sure I'm as optimistic about it as some people. I'll be pleasantly surprised if it happens, and I'll certainly report it. But I don't know. What do you think?
There's no way a black man is getting into the top 15. And by the way, people will go, oh, that's racist. No. They're the racist. I'm not racist. I'd make sure that I had people of color and females in my leadership to offer a different point of view. But in the Mormon church, I still believe there is an unwritten code among the highest levels of the church where people of color are still not allowed. In other words, we can get rid of the race ban down here, but up here, we still have a race ban. This is still non-African American, African people here.
Well, we will see. Now, interestingly, I mean,
Church broke
it's
too.
been
By
a
the way.
week.
He's church broke too, though. By the way, his
It's
thing
been a-
when he made a
It's
comment
been a
on
week since President Nelson died, which
Yep.
means it's been a week since they've known that they're going to need a new apostle. So it's possible they won't call one until after conference, after they've had a time to, I don't know, interview people.
you know who the 12 guys are that are super church broke that you're picking from. You're not picking Jerry Jones over in Dallas. You're not picking him as your new guy.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah, I'm using a name, and yes, I picked Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but pick a Mormon in the world who's a really good Mormon.
Yeah.
You're not picking that guy. You have
How
a
about this?
list.
How
You have a
about this guy? This is the guy I think is going to get picked.
Who's this RFM?
This is Pearson, Elder Pearson.
Kevin Pearson.
He's the hitman. He does the wet work for the apostles.
This
He
is
goes out and tells the young men, don't you freaking pray about going on a mission. What's wrong with you? You have a duty to go on a mission, damn it. So don't pray about it, just go.
don't pray about something. That's such a weird thing in Mormonism to tell somebody, no, don't pray. By the way, another church broke guy. This guy, I think, worked with the SCMC for a while. I don't think he's there now, but he was one of the head presidency of the SCMC. This guy's church broke too. You've shown 3 church broke people. If there were Vegas odds on this, the Vegas odds would be really high on the 3 of these.
Yes, and word is that he uses an entire can of Aquanet every morning.
Okay, there's that. He's got those Monson sleeves going where his sleeve is way bigger than his hand. And
I think those are French cuffs.
well, whatever they are, they
I
look
think I
like,
see a French cuff from here. Can you see the cuff link?
I see
It's
it.
just the inner part, like here. See, I
I
got French cuffs.
I don't have the money for an expensive suit like this.
Well, maybe you're in the wrong business.
Those are custom suits. Those guys look good in their suits.
Yeah, he's looked better than I think the norm.
I'll tell
Although
you
that tie is not doing it for me.
I'll tell you who I hope it is, but it definitely isn't going to be. Elder Dubé. Elder Dubé gave general conference talks a while back. I don't know if he's even in the 70 anymore, but this guy seemed like a really humble, good man, person of color.
Mhm.
And I would love to see someone like that. I think Patrick Kieran was a good addition.
I really don't like that Kieran character.
He's too
You know, in
nice.
Star Trek once, he said, I am Kieran.
All right. Well, it won't be this guy. It probably will be one of the 3 guys you listed, but probably not the person of color.
Or maybe it'll surprise us all. By the way, we don't even have to look at this because I know we're late, but we have to talk about the question about who's going to be the new counselor in the first presidency, or counselors. I kind of think it's a lock that Henry Eyring will stay in there because he's the financial whiz kid with all the savvy about how to circumvent the SEC.
I think Eyring adds that. Again, I don't think it works, and most people see through it. And I think even members are like, dude, could you just not cry for fucking one talk? Could you? But he does offer like the softer side. That's what he looks like. He looks like he's the softer guy. I don't know behind the scenes what he is, but I would suspect he doesn't cry as much in real life, in real life, than when he's pretending in real life.
He might. It's a little known fact that the Walt Disney character Goofy was actually patterned after Henry Eyring.
Yeah, there you go. Just the note. You ask who will make up the first presidency, folks. Please put it in the live chat. Who do you think will be the? So I agree with you, RFM. Eyring will be one of the counselors, almost certainly the first counselor, and the second counselor will be someone from the Quorum of the 12 currently.
Almost certainly.
Yep.
And I would say I was advocating for Bednar until we were talking this afternoon, Bill, and I said, what am I thinking? Bednar is universally disliked. And why should anybody think that he's only disliked among the members? The leaders probably hate his guts too. So why would Dallin Oak say, yeah, I hate that guy. Let me put him in my first presidency.
Even Elder Oaks thinks he's an asshole.
Yeah. Even the vegetables don't like him.
I actually think it will be Bednar, though. Vegetables. Even
Maybe not. It might be Christopherson.
D. Todd would make a good one.
You know why
Holland.
I say that, Bill?
No, please.
It's the legal connection. They're both lawyers.
Oh, I like that. Also, by Christopherson handling things the way he did, and the brother and all that, you know that he also will be he's church broke. He'll do the thing you need him to do.
Oh, he'll take a bullet for you.
Yeah, he went out there when he was like, I don't really agree with this whole thing, and they're like, you're the fucking guy. Get your ass
November
out there.
2015.
Get your ass out there in front of that camera, and you answer the questions like we would answer the questions, but we're not going out there. You're going out there. And he went out there. Sat with Michael Watson, was it? Not Michael Watson. Michael.
Who's the guy with the English accent?
Yeah, the tall, thin guy. Yeah.
Do you remember his name?
Oh, I think it's Michael, but I don't know the last name. I don't think it's Watson because that's the.
It wasn't Watson. No. It was something English. This posh English accent where he got out to say his lines of his script in his posh English way, and then Elder Christopherson got to say his lines from his script in his.
Yeah, somebody will know it. Who's the PR guy for the church back in the 2000s? Otterson. Michael Otterson. I think that's right. I'll tell you who it won't be in the first presidency. It will not be Dieter F. Uchtdorf.
Oh, Gott im Himmel. Warum nicht, mein lieber Freund?
It won't be him because he was demoted by these guys. I'll also just say too, I don't think it's going to be Holland. He's too frail. It's not Uchtdorf. So then the next sort of seniority you've got is Bednar, is Christopherson. Those are the next guys. Otherwise, you're going into the younger groups. Now you're, Renland and Suarez and who's the chubby guy? Not the one who was chubby and did the Ozempic, but the one who's still chubby.
Yeah, the one who was chubby and did the Ozempic was Renland. You're talking about Rasband.
Elder Rasband, yeah.
See, I can get it just from that description.
Oh, could you imagine? Even if you're like one of the apostles and you're like, I kind of do this Mormon thing, but I don't want to be Elder Oak's counselor. That's kind of gross.
I think they would all just love to be his counselor.
And quote him.
Oh my gosh. Quoting Elder Oaks.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Anyway,
at least he has some interesting quotes, but I expect they'll stay far away from those.
They won't be using the traditional Elder Oaks quotes.
They won't be using the interesting Elder Oaks quotes.
No, they won't. They won't.
So are we about out of here, my friend? Let me see here. Is there anything else in these that we need to do right now?
Out of time.
Yeah, we can't do that. So we'll have to save some of that for next week. I'm just going to say briefly, okay, that Rebecca last Wednesday had mentioned that there was a ward that was using new definitions for old terms or retiring terms like brethren. Remember that? And trying to give us new words to use in place of these somewhat uniquely Mormon words about the church. What I wanted to just add, though we don't have time to go through it tonight, is that apparently this ward was not acting on its own. And that actually it is on the church website. If you can click on that, Bill, if you're able to do that from where you are.
Yeah, I can. It'll take me just a second to do it.
Click on that. It'll open up to a page. It's on the church website. A listener sent this to me. And you have to go down a ways to recognize it. But this is what it's called. And I'm not sure when it went up on the church website because they don't date things, right? That can be handy and useful. Let's see if we've got this. Oh, I see you have it up.
I do. Give me just a moment to take that down, put that up. Creating
creating a recognizable voice. Can you scroll? Scroll. Scroll.
Right here. Consider this instead of that. Compassionate.
You have to keep going way down.
Yeah.
Way down. Way down. Okay. Hold it. See, each of those are terms. Take one of those, okay? Take brethren. Click on it. Do you see it up there, Bill, second from the top? Click on it. And what does it say?
It says, brethren, try church leaders, prophets, apostles, so forth, or simply men or priesthood holders. For example, several priesthood holders may participate and an ordinance, see also priesthood. Earth. Well, here's a
This
weird
is
one. Earth. Use this world. Use this earth. Earth life. We're supposed to use earth life instead of earth. May sound strange or let me say this again. Earth, language and concepts related to premortal life, other worlds, and eternity may be unfamiliar to others. For example, this earth, this world, earth life may sound strange or confusing. Try phrases like during your lifetime. No one in Mormonism says earth life. That's a ridiculous thing.
well, maybe sometimes they do. I don't know. I haven't really heard it, but there's pre-Earth life, right? Earth life. Earth life is weird because what other kind of life would you have? Well, I guess if you're talking to a Christian or even a Mormon, then it wouldn't. Why would that be confusing? Wouldn't that sort of be understood that they believe in life beyond this earth?
Yeah. Inactive. Be cautious about categorizing people. Now, who the fuck taught us to categorize people?
I
They're
don't
the
even know why they have inactive up there because it hasn't been inactive forever. It's been
Yeah.
less active.
less active. But still, inactive is their term. Less active
Mhm.
is their term.
Mhm.
They're the ones who label people, the so-called intellectuals.
That's a good point. So they label people, and now they're upbraiding the members for labeling people and saying, "Hey, you shouldn't label people."
Lazy learners is a label they give.
Do they have that under L?
So-called feminist.
No lazy learner up there? We don't
No.
have different words for that. I guess we can keep calling people lazy learners then. The reason for bringing this up is to point out that this is not just one ward doing it, as we kind of thought, is it? No, this is from the church itself, on the church's own website, where they're encouraging people to start changing words of longtime usage and custom and understanding among Mormon circles in order to try and make us more understandable to non-Mormon circles.
By the way, watch. They will use, I'll say 5 of these in conference this weekend. They will use 5 new terminology terms, new pieces of Mormon vocabulary, because they need to convince the members that we're going to do it. We're going to move that direction. So they're going to take the first step and show us. Mark my words, it's going to happen. It would
Well, I
be
would agree with you wholeheartedly, except for the fact that I've observed that frequently they give us things to do that they don't do themselves.
Yeah, like putting out social media posts when they say to put out a social media post every day, for instance.
Like hashtag give thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys give thanks. Me, I'm busy.
Yeah. It would also be funny if somebody uses the old terms after having told us to use the new terms.
Well, you know what's funny is that there was a video. Boy, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm sorry, folks. There was a video of Elder Bednar. I almost called it Elder Bedlam. That's not bad, Elder Bedlam. But Elder Bednar going out to Michigan. By the way, they were able to find an apostle and a 70 to go out to Michigan. And Elder Bednar says, yeah, well, we needed to come out here. All the apostles, all the leaders understood we need to send an apostle out to show that we care, because coming out here and showing up is worth more than 100 sermons. He's absolutely right. But unfortunately, they couldn't make it across the Atlantic.
Couldn't go for the bus accident.
There was some kind of force field in the Atlantic that they could not make it across to go visit. They didn't even get a GA, is my understanding. I didn't see any, and certainly not an apostle to visit at all. And that was back months ago. And so I'm glad they understand why it's important to show up when a tragedy, horrific incident happens. I just wish they applied it more evenly.
Do you think Bednar has a fan club among membership? In other words, everybody has their favorite. People love the Silver Fox.
Yes.
People love Jeffrey Holland, especially the old Jeffrey Holland who gave the great talks, not the recent one who says a lot of stupid things. But there are certain, like Oaks. I just don't feel like there's a lot of people out there going, that Elder Oaks, we love him.
There will be. That will all change. You haven't seen any kind of adoration yet, pal.
So you think there are Bednarites out there?
Oh, absolutely. They're mostly dicks. And they see themselves in Elder Bednar. So of course there's a natural affinity. And for Elder Oaks, these are Muppet fans that really, really like Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
All right. Well, that does it for me. It's 10:02.
Elder Eyring is speaker.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. What a great time. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments in the live chat and in the comments below whether you like the show or not. And please like and subscribe. Take us home, Martha.
Yes. I'll see you this weekend at the end of every conference session. I'll be there for at least half an hour. And we're going to have a great time. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to watch General Conference, so you don't have to. I'll see you in the morning, getting up bright and early, coming down and preparing, and we'll have a lot of fun. So I hope you can join me. See you there. And if you can't, and even if you can, I'll see you next Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, Mormon Newscast. Next Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m., Mormonism Live. And next Friday, 8 o'clock p.m., Mormonism After Dark. See you then. Good night, everybody.